So this college board, like, nobody elected them to anything. They're just kind of there, and they're providing service. And so you can either utilize those services or not. And so they've provided these AP courses for a long time. But, you know, there are probably some other vendors who may be able to do that job as good, or maybe even a lot better. So I've already talked with Paul, and I think the legislature is going to look to reevaluate kind of how Florida is doing that. Of course, our universities can or can't accept college board courses for credit. Maybe they'll do others. And then also just whether our universities do the SAT versus the ACT. I think they do both, but we're going to evaluate kind of how all that process goes. But at the end of the day, we highlighted things that were very problematic. And I tell you, it wasn't just people like me saying that. Across the political spectrum, people were saying that, like, you know, this really is junk. Why don't we just do and teach the things that matter? Why is it always someone has to try to jam their agenda down our throat?
So that is Ron DeSantis, who has spent the years of his governorship jamming his agenda down the throats of everyone who doesn't agree with him in Florida. He is presenting himself as some sort of defender of, you know, stopping politicization of education, as he literally decides personally what your kids get to learn and what's too spooky, too scary for them to find out about. And so because he decided to pick a fight with every scholar of African-American politics, queer politics, all of that, that led to the College Board responding to him and criticizing him. They've called him a liar for the things he's said about the AP African American Studies courses, as well as his communications with the College Board. He's apparently just been openly lying about what has actually been going on. So now it escalates to him saying he's considering just getting rid of the College Board's influence over Florida, just getting rid of it entirely, and someone else can do it. I don't know, some mega church in Texas that produces books about the Ark or something. Those will be what AP courses are going forward. This might just be a stunt. A lot of what he does is, all of his stuff about gas stoves, just nonsensical. It has nothing to do with the people of Florida. But as of right now, this is the path that he's taking to becoming the Republican nominee. Picking all of these fights with what he would declare to be like woke orthodoxy, but the victim at every step of the way is the people of Florida and their ability to actually live a modern life and learn what reality is. Trey, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, so I saw this picture pop up on the internet again the other day from like 1963 civil rights era, and it was these three protesters at a sit-in at a diner getting like mustard and ketchup and syrup and stuff poured all over them by this, again, keep using this word, frothing crowd of, you know, hateful white people in Mississippi. And it was like, you know, that's not that long ago, really. It's like 60 something years ago. And this is the exact type of thing that they want kids to not find out happens. Like, why? Because it's, you know, because they feel like personally connected to it, or it feels like, you know, dangerous to them for people finding out that this type of thing has gone on, or that we really did do this. It makes it easier to travel down a fascist road, I think, when people don't have reminders of past horrors like that from even recent history in your country. So it just behooves them to sort of, you know, keep people uneducated, because the more people, you know, learn, the more questions they ask, and the more they, you know, have doubts about the established order and whatnot. And it all makes sense from a very macro scale, but it's, you know, really alarming. I mean, again, it's like sci-fi dystopia stuff. You know what I mean? It's like we're getting into Fahrenheit 451 territory now. Like we're doing Starship Troopers, Fahrenheit 451. You know, you name it. We're going through all those, which is ironic because they would probably hate all of those books.
They would probably ban all of those books.
If they haven't already, they probably will.
Yes, let's make those references while people out there in the audience can still get them,
right?
Because the next generation probably won't. Yeah, what's gonna become of the kids there? Like, what is a college education going to be worth in 10 years from Florida? It's so sad that he has been able to hoodwink so many conservatives into thinking that this is in their interest, that this has anything to do with them or their kids.
Right. I just wish, you know, that whether, like in terms of history classes and stuff, I just wish that whether or not a thing happened was a larger criteria for, whether kids learned about it or not, because I thought that's how history was ostensibly supposed to work. And I know history is always written by the victors and all that, but putting that aside, like it shouldn't matter. I don't buy into the fact that kids get psychological problems or feel personally shamed by history lessons anyway. Like, oh no, I'm a bad person and now I need therapy because my teacher told me about slavery. Like, I don't buy into that anyway, but like however it makes someone feel should be immaterial to whether or not, the importance of a subject being taught. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of that stuff is supposed to make you feel bad. All right. If it doesn't make you feel bad, something's wrong. And that's also part of the point, because that's how you avoid letting it happen again. And it's all like, again, it just seems like elementary stuff to me that I can't believe we're arguing about, except I can, because I know what they're really trying to do ultimately,
and what country we live in. Yeah. And it would be one thing if they were doing all of this, that they were censoring stuff left and right, getting rid of the books to protect the feelings of school kids. It would be a little bit easier to accept that if they weren't at the same time the party who says that they're against cancel culture and against censorship. Right. Oh, and they're also the party that spent the last 10 years telling everyone, why do you need a safe space? Why do you need a trigger warning? Like it was just projection all along.
Absolutely. All the snowflake talking, oh, you get your feelings hurt and F your feelings and all that stuff. And they're the most thin-skinned, easily offended people on planet Earth. It's everything is always projection with them. Everything. I mean, you opened this segment with the whole, we're not going to let them shove their agenda down our throats, when that's like item 1 on their agenda is forcing it on the rest of us. It's all projection with them.
The classes
projection all the way down.
100%. Exactly. I like that reference too. That's another book that they might ban. The classes are voluntary. It, by definition, is not being forced on you. You can choose it or not. They're stopping the classes from existing. That's forcing. That's not an optional voluntary thing. Anyway, so everyone just, again, I'm gonna say this a lot, especially in the beginning part of this primary, prepare yourself, because on the one hand, we're gonna have a little bit of fun with the nonsense and the attacks and all that. But then on the other hand, you have people like Ron DeSantis who are gonna use their position as governor to do insane, deranged, fascist, I almost swore, stuff to get his base into to quote Trae, a frothing crowd. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.